In this video, I'm going to share a roadmap that you can follow to make your first $1,000 in freelancing within 30 days. So if you have started your freelancing career but you aren't making enough money, or if you are thinking of getting started, this video is going to help you get to your first $1,000 within 30 days. Before we get started, I will advise you to find a piece of paper and a pen to take some notes, because it will be a lot easier for you to start implementing what you learn if you have it written down on paper. Okay, the very first day, what we want to start with is start with packaging yourself right. Whether you have started your freelancing career already or if you are just getting started, if you want to reach your first $1,000 within 30 days, then we don't have time to waste in trial and error. So you just need to package yourself right from day one. And what can you do to package yourself right from day one? What you just need to do is to avoid looking like a beginner. Because if you look like a beginner and if you act like a beginner, you are going to find small projects that are not going to take you to your first $1,000. So you need to avoid looking like a beginner, and there are two things that we can do in order to achieve this. The first thing is set up your account on Upwork the right way. I'm choosing Upwork to do this because Upwork, it will be a little faster to find client on Upwork than it will be to find work on Fiverr. Because on Upwork you can send proposals to client, but on Fiverr you cannot send proposals. You can only create packages and wait for potential client to find your packages in search and send you a message, or you wait for Fiverr to send you a brief so that you can send a message to potential client. So in my experience, it will take a little more time to find a client on Fiverr than if you use Upwork. So that is why in this video we are going to focus on Upwork. And what you need to do is, whether you created your account on Upwork or not, if you create your account already, what you just need to do is review your account. There is a new video that I released on a complete tutorial on how to set up an account on Upwork. So even if you have an account on Upwork already, what I want you to do is go to the description of this video. There is a link to a Upwork tutorial that I made. Go through the tutorial and make sure you set up everything right on your Upwork profile. And if you haven't created your Upwork profile, then follow the tutorial step by step to create your account on Upwork. Remember, there is no room for trial and error, so we just need to make everything right from day one. That is why I advise you to follow the tutorial step by step to create your professional account on Upwork. And after you create your account on Upwork, there is one more thing that we need to do in order to package ourselves right. And what you need to do is, you need to have a completed project and a past client testimonial. Now this is challenging because you haven't worked for any client previously, so obviously you don't have past client reviews or testimonials, and you don't have past project. And so this is where we need to do something very strategic. And what we need to do is look at the service that you are going to start offering. If you are going to offer maybe graphic design, what type of graphic design are you going to start offering? Are you going to start offering logo design? Or are you going to start creating YouTube thumbnails? Or are you going to create maybe business cards? If you are going to do content writing, are you going to write articles for bloggers? Are you going to write email newsletter? Choose something very specific that you are going to start offering, because it will be easy for you to implement this next step. Okay, when you choose a service, you choose something very clear and specific. Then we move to the next step. And for the sake of example, I'm going to choose YouTube thumbnail design. Let's say you are going to be a graphic designer and you are going to start offering YouTube thumbnail design. What you just need to do is go to Facebook and find groups. Find Facebook groups that people who have YouTube channels hang out in. You can find there are a lot of YouTube groups, there are a lot of groups on Facebook that are for YouTubers. So you find those type of groups, and similar to every service that you want to start offering, if you're going to start offering content writing, article writing for bloggers, you just find blogging groups on Facebook. Whatever you want to start offering, find groups that the specific type of client that you are going to go after are hanging out in that group. And when you find those groups, you can make a post that will say something like, "Hello everyone, my name is Sadiq Umar. I am a graphic designer. I am offering YouTube thumbnail design. I am looking for 3 YouTube channels to create free thumbnails for you in exchange of a testimonial. And if you are interested, please send me a message, or if you are interested, comment down below." You can make a simple post like this. You can even include a sample of the thumbnails that you can create for individuals. And if you make this kind of post, depending on the types of groups that you make the post in, you are going to have so many responses. And from there, you can choose 3, 2, 5, whatever number you want to choose. I suggest you choose 3 to 5 people and you create samples for them. You do the work for them for free. In exchange, they write you a testimonial. And if you can find someone who can give you a video testimonial, that is even better. You can include the work you did for them as your past project. You can include them as your past client, and you can have their testimonial as your past client testimonial. And this step is very important. You don't want to miss this step, because majority, 99% of the clients that you are going to find wherever else, they are only interested in what you can do for them. They are not interested in your education. They are not interested in most cases even in what you have to say. The only thing they are interested in is what you can do for them. So if you can do the job, if you can create attractive samples, this is what is going to help you get the client very fast. So this is what you need to do from day one. Create your Upwork profile or update your Upwork profile to make it professional. And the second thing that you need to do on day one is find client to offer pre-work in exchange of a testimonial. Okay, the next thing that you need to do is get ready to start accepting client, and you do this the next day on day 2. And what is included is, first, you have your Upwork account completed. Your Upwork account can serve as your portfolio on Upwork. But because we want to find client fast and reach $1,000 fast, we cannot rely only on Upwork. And for that reason, we need to also create a portfolio of Upwork. And the best place to create a portfolio, if you are offering graphic design or web design, you can create a profile on Behance.net or Dribbble.com, and that can serve as your portfolio. But I suggest the best place to create your portfolio is in Canva. You can easily create a website in Canva that you can share a link to potential client. And a few days ago also, I created a full tutorial on how to create a portfolio on Canva that you can share a link to potential client. Let me show you the sample of the portfolio that we created in that tutorial. Okay, you can go to the description of this video. There will be a link that you can follow to watch a tutorial that will show you step by step how to create your portfolio on Canva, similar to the one that I just showed you. And when you have your portfolio, and it's easy to create your portfolio because you already have all the details that you need on Upwork, and you already have past work sample, and you already have past client testimonials. Okay, at this stage you have your completed profile on Upwork, and you also have a portfolio in Canva that you can share a video link to your potential client. The next thing that you need to do is find client, which is the most important part. And we are going to follow 2 routes in order to find client. First, we are going to use Upwork, and then we are going to use another method. Let's start with Upwork. What you need to do is, in Upwork, you have your Upwork profile completed. The next thing that you need to do is you should have a proposal template. I don't recommend you use ChatGPT to write proposals to clients, and I don't recommend you use one template for every job, because a proposal is the initial message, is the first line of communication between you and your potential client. So it is very important, because if you have the wrong proposal, then it doesn't matter if you contact 100 potential clients, you are not going to hear back from them. And to make this step easier, I recently created a complete tutorial on how to write a winning proposal. I also have a template. I will put a link in the description of this video that you can follow to watch the tutorial on how to write the proposal, and I will also give you the template that you can use to customize for every job that you send the proposal to. But on Upwork, a proposal is not everything that you need to worry about when finding a client. There are a few things also that will help you find your first client. When you create your new Upwork account, they are going to give you 50 free connect, and this connect is what you are going to use to find client. Some jobs require 8 connect, some 16, some 20, some even more. So if they give you this 50 free connect, when you apply for one job and the job maybe require 10 connect, after you apply for the job, you will have 40 connect left. So if you exhaust this 50 pre-connect, you will have to buy connect in order to apply for more jobs. And that is why our goal is to try and find client with this 50 pre-connect. And we can do this by applying to only the jobs that we have a high chance of getting. And how can we make sure we only apply to jobs that we have a high chance of getting? Well, the first thing is, before you send your proposal to any job, make sure the client indicate they are looking for a beginner. On Upwork, when a client posts a project, they can specify whether they are looking for a beginner, intermediate, or expert. If you want to increase your chances of getting the job, make sure you only apply to jobs that the client are looking for a beginner, because you don't have any history on Upwork. So on Upwork, even if you are experienced in whatever it is, you are a beginner since you haven't done any work previously. And so that is why I only apply to clients who are looking for a beginner. And also, before you send your proposal, make sure you meet all the client requirements. When you open any job posting on Upwork, if you scroll to the bottom, you will see any special requirement that they have. Some client on Upwork, they will say they are looking for a freelancer who have 80% job completion rate. And if you haven't done any work, then you don't have any job completion rate. And some client will say they are looking for a freelancer who have a rising talent badge. If you are new, you also don't have that badge. And some clients will also say they are looking for a freelancer in a specific country or who speaks specific language. So make sure you scroll when you open any job posting, you scroll to the bottom and you make sure you meet all the client requirements. Because if you don't meet any of the requirements, when you send your proposal, you just wasted your time and your connect. So you see, at this stage, you have your Upwork profile completed. You also have some work sample that you added in your portfolio section on Upwork, and you have the right proposal template, and you apply to jobs, only the jobs that you have a high chance of getting. You see, if you do this right, then your chances of finding client will be very high. But still, even if you do all this, we will not rely only on Upwork, and that is why we created our portfolio on Canva. And the next method of finding client is a little more complicated, but it might even be a little faster than using Upwork. And for this method, we are going to use social media. We are going to use Facebook specifically. And what you just need to do is, similar to how we find free work in exchange of a testimonial, that is what you are going to do, but you are going to do it differently. Make sure the service you are offering is something that a client is going to need continuously. If you are offering logo design, then client is not going to need a logo every single week. So it's a one-off tax, and we need to avoid this type of services. But if you are offering YouTube thumbnail design, then the people who need a YouTube thumbnail design, they probably need more than one thumbnail per week. And similar to people who are looking for a blog content writer, they are looking for a blog content writer multiple times. They are not just writing one article. And people with YouTube channels, they are not doing only one video. So these are the type of services that you want to aim at, because it will be easier to find client. And what you need to do is, I'm going to take the example of YouTube thumbnail design. We go to Facebook groups that YouTubers hang out, and we ask for feedback. And the way we ask for feedback is, you create very attractive thumbnails to the best of your ability, and you make a post in the Facebook group and you ask for feedback. You make a simple post like, hello everyone, I make this thumbnail for my client. I am looking for improvement suggestions. Any suggestion is welcome. Something simple like this, and then you post the thumbnail that you created. This will allow you to be in front of the people who are your potential client. Because if a majority of the people in those Facebook groups, they are creating their thumbnails by themselves, and if they see a thumbnail that look really good and you said you created the thumbnail, some are going to ask you, what software do you use to create this thumbnail? How do you create these thumbnails? There will be so many questions if the thumbnail is good enough. There will be some people who are already thinking of hiring a thumbnail designer, and that will start a conversation. How much will you create a thumbnail like this? Then you give people your prices. You can even go to an extra mile and find YouTube channels and create sample thumbnails that they did not ask for. Then you reach out to them and send them the sample that you create for them with a message like, hey, I created this thumbnail, I find your channel, I like your content, I think your thumbnails could use some extra boost, so I created this sample for you, let me know if you like it, and you just send them the thumbnail. If the thumbnail you created is better than the one they have on their channel, they are most likely going to respond to you. And this is why this method is a little faster way to find a client. Let me give you a typical example. If you search on YouTube, you find YouTube channels, small YouTube channels with around 1,000 subscribers, and their thumbnails are not good. You know you can do better. You just go ahead and choose one of their videos. You create a nice and very attractive thumbnail for them. You go to their YouTube About section, you find their email address, you send them an email with a thumbnail that you created, and you say something very simple. I find your channel, I like your content, I create this thumbnail for you, let me know if you like it. If the thumbnail is so great, they know it add value to their channel, they are most likely going to respond to you. And so you see, this is why this method is going to be faster in finding clients compared to sending proposals on Upwork. So now, how can we make sure we reach $1,000 within 30 days? That is easy. You just need to price your packages, price your services, and calculate how many clients do you need per week in order to reach that amount. If you want to reach $1,000, then you need $250 per week. How much can you charge for your services, and how many clients do you need per week to reach that level? So all you need is time, really, because you can, this method, if you follow this method, you implement it right, finding a client is not going to be that hard. Okay, next you can watch this video where I explain in detail how you can find a client on Facebook. If you find the video helpful, please give it a like and don't forget to subscribe. I will see you in the next one.